Hi, family, and this is another time again on the platform conversation this morning. I believe that you all are having a good time. I don't know who is there with me. If you are there with me, I wanted to just say hi or say something if you're hearing my audio properly, and so that we can then be able to engage on these conversations easily and also be able to enjoy some of the things in which we want to talk today. Trust me, I am really enjoying myself. Just getting to know that I'm having a guest who will be joining me that will be discussing about all things food. And the all things food for me, it's something that I am really, really very interested in terms of engaging, and also just to make sure that at least we talk food. I know the majority of you know that too well. That okay, fine, this and fundis and why is this fundis talking about food? Trust me, food is very important. We need to talk about food. We need to know what food is saying, and just to be able to make sure that we enjoy some of the most important things that we need to do this very particular moment. I can see that my guest is already at the backdrop there, and she's I can see her looking prettiful this morning. And just to make sure that we then engage on the conversations later this moment. My guest, I'll be back for me to introduce you, but I just want to make them understand that eating food and having good food is very important so that I can do a good backdrop on the conversation we'll be having this morning, which is all things food, and just to make sure that yeah, we enjoy our conversations and flow properly at this moment. And so, with this being said, one of the things in which I want you to understand is the fact that God actually wanted us to have a good food. I don't know what you want to say, but for me, I'm a pastor. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to put some conversations that will make you feel as if no, we just need to be cautious about the spiritual food and forget about the physical food. No, 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 no. See, God wants you to eat that very particular continental dish. Those kind of food that when you finish eating it, all of a sudden, like the Bible says in the book of Deuteronomy, it said when you finish eating, because the food is good, you then thank the Lord for providing you with an awesome meal, for providing you with a meal that all of a sudden you look at the meal, you are thinking, oh my God, what the hell is this? Guess that is coming today. Trust me, I was telling her a few hours before we came, and I was saying to her, I'm like, yeah, this is unfair. My producer did a bad job for the first time. I have to say so. Because in my mind, I'm like, after that kind of food, you were supposed to make this thing live. Like she comes into the studio, we cook, I test every food, and I get to enjoy. No, trust me, I like food. I don't know about you. I like food. And even your Jesus also like food, because we can see that in the book of Luke, the Bible says that after the people came into gather and after they were gathering, and the disciple says, Master, let these people go so that they can go home and then go and find something to eat. But Jesus said to them, he said, no, let us feed the people. What do you have around your meals that we be able to feed them so that they can eat? If your Jesus can be very interested in feeding 5,000 people, I don't know if this lady has actually fed 5,000 people. We'll find out. But your Jesus fed 5,000 people. And that is, how the Bible is structured somehow. 5,000 men. And no matter any gathering, women is always more than men, especially when there is some sharp guys that are hanging around that place. Women are more than men. And so if there is 5,000 men, which means possibility that there is 15,000 women, and there is also children. So the total rough estimate of what Jesus fed that day was about 25,000. This is just my own calculation based on the way we see things happening in our own time. And so, dear, I want you to understand this, that God actually wants you to eat good food. Like he wants you to eat and be nourished. I think I have a particular scripture which I want to just put on the table this morning. Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 7. The Bible says here, it says, go thy way, eat thy bread with joy. The bread there is talking about is eat thy food with joy. So if you're eating food and you're not joyful, maybe because you did not cook the food properly. And we have our guest today that will be teaching us how to cook food properly. What are the secret ingredients that with about 20 rand you can be able to eat? And when you are perceiving the smell, you're like, you almost feel like breaking your fast. There's something food like that when you perceive the smell, you're like, you're like, God, but not today for me to fast. My wife do those very particular things sometimes. Today I feel like being in this. She just come with some certain recipe in mind. I'm thinking, no, babe, this is unfair. This is unfair. But this is what it said. It says, it said, drink thy wine with merry heart, for God now accepted thy work. Which means why? God is saying to you that enjoy food, eat food and be filled, eat food and enjoy everything that in which he wants you to enjoy. And also you see the book of Psalm 107 verse 9. It says, for he satisfied the thirsty and filled the hungry with good things, which means good things is what we need to enjoy. And so with this being said, just to give you a roundabout conversation, I'm having a beautiful guest. I said beautiful guest because after talking to her a few minutes ago, trust me, she just have a bubbling spirit. She just know how to just smile. She just know how to just say the right thing at the right time, and also being intentional about what she's saying. Let me just quickly see what I can do when it comes to reading her profile. And just to be able to get a background of who this my guest is today, that we'll be discussing about all things food. And I was reading the profile a few hours ago, I mean yesterday, when I got the information, and I was saying, but this is not nice. Like, all of us, we grew up with our mother in the kitchen. How come her own case is different? So what else were we doing in the kitchen? When she was at the kitchen with her mother, I think her grandmother, and I don't know what she was looking at, because I was also at the kitchen with my mom, but I don't get it. Like, what happened? But let me see here. Having come from a humble beginning and growing up in the village in KwaZulu Natal, Zanele has successfully managed to turn her passion into a career. As a young girl, she grew up watching up her mother cook soulful traditional food. It was only after she met her husband, who challenged her in the kitchen with his cooking skill, that she discovered that her passion and talent in culinary art. She was then inspired to study and qualify as a professional chef. Her tenacity and entrepreneurship nature led her to start the cooking with Zanele classes, where she teaches and shares her passions of food with keen foodies in different kitchens across the country. She makes cooking delicious, beautiful food less daunting by demonstrating her creative, quick, and easy recipe in a fun and learning environment. For me, I just want to pause there, because I feel as if this my guest need to just come and just tell us. Zanele, it is good to see you. How are
Hi.
you?
Nice. Thanks for having me. Good
Nah,
day.
likewise. It's actually a good one. Before we start, is it food that you are cooking that is making you look this good? I know we need to know what the hell is going on. Because this can't be
I
cream.
would like to believe so.
Is that you like to believe so?
Yeah, I would like to believe so.
No, but just as because I just read a bit of your profile. Can you just give us a brief of who Zanele is? We know that yes, you started your cooking. Your cooking passion actually started from your mother's kitchen, and you hear me with the intro. I feel bad because I my mom is a caterer, but the things in which I see on your
Well,
page, I'm like, I think I need to recheck my culinary skills. After discussing with you, we'll discuss how to come for another full time training, just to make sure that I beat my wife in the kitchen. You know, it's good for you to
oh
have you and your
yes.
partner, for you guys to be fighting. Like, no, I want to cook this continental. She's telling me she wants to cook Afro continental. I'm like, I don't care. My own is nice. But just at this time, please just introduce yourself to our wonderful listeners across, both on the TV side and also on the radio side.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm a small girl from KwaZulu Natal, like you said.
No, I
Well,
didn't say
honestly,
small. I didn't say the small girl. You are the one who put more.
At home, I'm always a little girl when I get home. So yes, I'm still a little girl from KwaZulu
Okay.
Natal. I'm married with two kids. I'm a chef. I give cooking classes. I'm a cookbook author. I give cooking classes around South Africa. Actually, the person that challenged me in the kitchen was my husband, who used to cook a lot for me. But that was before we got married, and I saw a challenge. I also studying because I used to find the kitchen very daunting, and he used to cook those good-looking, your restaurant-looking food, and
Mm,
I was like, I have to try and do something. I used to work as an IT technician uh, before I met him, and then 2012 I felt pregnant, and I decided to go when I was in maternity leave, I started trying new dishes, going on internet, googling the recipes and all. Then I realized that actually that was my passion. That was I
mm,
loved doing. And then I spoke to my husband that I should try to change the career and do
mm,
something else. And then I went to a culinary school. At the same time, I didn't want to be to do what was always or already been done. I wanted to be different or unique, if I put it that way.
mm, mm,
So I thought I've seen most of chefs. They're working at the restaurants. They open their restaurants. They do catering. They do this, they do that, but I saw a gap of cooking
mm.
classes. I
Okay.
thought maybe let me just grab this opportunity and see how it goes. And the response was just phenomenal.
mm, mm,
Started cooking classes in Joburg, went to Durban, I went to Newcastle, Richards Bay, Cape Town. It was just very well received. And a few years later, I wrote a cookbook, and yeah, it's been a very uh, beautiful journey.
mm, mm. No, I think for me, one of the things that I like is the fact that ability for you to take your passion that you never knew that you actually have, but you were able to pull that very particular passion and you decide to go to school for that, because this is the thing that we find ourselves where we tell ourselves that no, because it's a gift or probably it's a skill that it just fell from heaven, and all of a sudden I don't
Yeah.
want to improve that very particular thing and stuff. My question to you today that I want to ask you, different kind of, because everything we're going to be talking about is going to be around food, food, and food. And trust me, I like food. I don't know about you, but I do.
We all do, actually.
There's certain people that will tell you that I don't like food. For me, I like the fact that I see some certain meats. I'm like, oh, Father, what is this lady doing
Well,
to
we all
me?
love our food. We all love. And
I remember,
the thing is, the food just became a lifestyle. Everyone wants to
mm,
eat this
mm,
beautiful, good-looking food. So
true,
everybody
true.
do like food.
And so my,
Yeah.
my question for you today would now be, the moment you decide to say you want to go, because for you, you said your husband was very good at the kitchen, and all of a sudden that really sparked a lot of things from the inside of you to pull that very particular thing out. What were the challenges? Because the reason why is, honestly, this is my hand up. I lie not. I have seen ladies who does not like cooking. One of them, I remember those days when I was still dating, when I was still in the hunting business. I remember this very particular lady I met, and she said to me point blank, she said, "Cooking is not my hobby." You know, I laughed. I'm like, hey, I'm a black man. Eh?
I love her honesty. I love her
from,
honesty.
from,
Some
from,
people
from,
really some
yeah,
people really find the kitchen daunting, and you don't want to crack your head thinking, what am I going to cook next? And you start, if it doesn't work, and then you become demotivated. So I understand those people who don't like cooking, but that's where I come in to teach people how to
exactly.
cook.
No, for me, I was saying to her, I'm like, see, come there. The truth of it is the fact that as much as I like her honesty that she can cook, or perhaps she doesn't like, I think the statement is that cooking is not my hobby. That's why the thing stays in my head. I'm like, cooking shouldn't be a hobby. Cooking should be a lifestyle. Like, no, I'm not saying be in the kitchen 24/7, but at least on the weekend, I want to see you tying that apron or probably just making some pap and shakalaka and something. And she's like, you will
Mm,
never see that part happen. No, honestly, part of the reason why I tried to break it because I cannot compromise myself because of kitchen. I'm like, nah, I can't be at the kitchen all the time. Neither also will I be going out all the time. So there must be a way. And so I
yeah,
try to say that relationship
it
can just
must
close.
balance it out. Yeah.
Exactly. The relationship closed simply because she says she can't cook. And I'm like, no, I'm from West Africa. We cook and we eat. And we cook it from the pot, eat from the pot, wash the pot, and sit down. So, and so my question that I want to throw with you this moment is the fact that what are the things that we can then begin to look at in terms of, for instance, ladies who would feel as if, because by the time I make your post, I put this very particular post up on my own page, which is at Steve Amazing. A lot of people have been inboxing me that, please, can she tell us how we can be able to learn how to cook? I don't have passion for cooking. A lot of people were sending me inbox on that very particular thing. But what are the things, what are the general perspective that you think that a lady who actually don't like cooking, but they want to push because whether we like it or not, there are still African men like my kind that will not compromise on food. Like we are still there. So what what are the things that you think that this lady or even a guy needs to be able to have in terms of mindset when it comes to understanding the kitchen game?
Again, it goes back to you have to like cooking
Okay.
for you to enjoy it. But
Mm,
at the
mm,
same time, we have to eat to live. But it
true.
doesn't mean
True.
we have to eat food that is not tasty. Um,
Because
I always say that the best seasoning is always salt and pepper before you add all the other flavors. If you have salt and pepper and a steak of meat, your food is done, it's cooked.
mm,
You
mm,
don't
mm,
have to overpower anything. I like less flavors, but I want my plate to be balanced.
mm,
Like I said, you really have to like it to make it to cook. You just can't, because if you don't like it, you won't even take trouble to go on Google and check
mm,
the
mm,
recipes and all. So you really have to like it to make it
mm.
work. But hey, we all have to eat so we can live. But we don't want to eat ukudla or the food that is not so tasty.
So
My
which means
Zulu
you're
almost came up there.
which is okay, don't worry. And this is an African station. We also accept all kinds of language. But just know that after you say the Zulu, you just have to interpret because I'll be like, what is that? Now, in
Food
the
is
place,
ukudla.
uh, what is that?
It's food. Ukudla.
Food is
Ukudla is
ukudla.
food. Yes.
Food. It's Zulu.
Yes, it's really.
Uh, okay, my wife is Kosa, so it's fine. I can fail that
She'll
exam.
understand. It's almost the same.
And so now my next thing which I want to say to you when it comes to the issue of having nutritional food, because one of the things in which I want to focus on this very particular conversation is how to then begin to look at what you have to be able to have nutritional food on your plate, regardless of what you have, regardless of the income. Because some people will see, though, for example, looking at the things in which you do, they'll be like, damn it, I don't have the budget for this. I don't have the budget because the way this thing looks nice on this very particular plate, possibility that she spend or probably she break the bank to be able to achieve this very particular thing. What are the basic that a woman or a man or a kitchen utensils needs to have for us to be able to start thinking of having a good nutritional food that can satisfy the soul? I think for me, that's the way you eat food that can satisfy even the soul will agree that no, I've eaten. Mm.
Okay, again, I was saying I love anything fresh, like
Okay.
from the soil to the pot or from the soil to the plate. That it can't be better than that. It's
Okay.
always fresh, it's
Mm,
always nutritious and
mm,
healthy, of
mm,
course.
mm, mm.
And we must always shy away from using a lot of spices. It I always say my your plate must be balanced. It's starch, it's protein, and the salad.
Okay.
So the starch normally it's veggies or maybe your brown rice.
Mm,
It's
mm,
not
mm,
expensive, it's healthy, it's got all the nutritions, and then you have any protein you want. It can be
mm,
beans, or it can be meat, or it can be fish. You do
mm.
not have to break the bank to have a beautiful or a tasty meal.
Yeah.
That's where I specialized. My cookbook is very simple. My recipes are all simple and tasty and full of nutrition. So
Mm, mm.
yeah, yeah.
So now my thing there is the fact that let's even talk about this your cookbook, at least a bit in your cookbook. What are the food in which we can find in that very particular cookbook, just for somebody who is interested in saying, okay, this very particular, because there's a lot of cookbook, let's be honest. One. Now at this very particular point, why should somebody go for your cookbook after so many cookbooks are available in the
That
market?
we have. Well, I will say it's because I use the ingredients that you can get anywhere. This plaza shop across the road. You don't have to go to the most expensive supermarket to buy my
Okay.
ingredients. And
Okay.
it's something that you can use for the next recipe. You don't buy maybe one ingredient and use it maybe in the next 3 months. It's something
Mm,
that you can still use it with the following recipes. So I
mm,
always try to use the ingredients that are easily accessible and cheap, so
mm.
everyone can just get it. So I specialize on getting the ingredients that are easily accessible and that are not expensive.
So, which means your own, I'll use the word, your own selling point is the fact that the ingredients are very easy to get and it's not stressful.
And my recipes are not long. You hardly get the recipe that will make you stand behind the stove for more than 20 minutes. They're always less than 20 minutes. Yes.
20 minutes. Okay, now I'm interested now. Where can we find the book? Because I
Well, I am out of stock now with my first book, but because I'm
okay.
busy with the second one, I'm printing next month both the first and the second. It
Okay.
will be on exclusive books, Take a Lot, and from myself.
From yourself. Okay, no, no problem. That's fine. At least we've done the just about the book. The book is not available currently in our family. So you can
Yes.
find her and follow her on Cooking with Zanele on all the social media platform. I think I remember I had to go do a spy to make sure that that very particular information that I got, that page, I think I even followed you on some of the places just to make sure that, okay, that's Zanele we are talking. So it's Cooking with Zanele. Then you will go there and see. And one of the things in which I like about some of the recipes in which I mean, some of your pictures is the fact that you also put 2 spoon, how do you call it, descriptions of how you make that thing. 2 teaspoon, I mean, is it teaspoon? You can't blame me. I drink tea all the time.
Yes.
2 spoonful, 2 spoonful of this portion of this moment. I'm like, This is trade secret. But now, somebody who currently now wants to learn how to cook food, I want to learn how to be able to pull what you call their skill, and they are very interested in actually doing this. What are the things that will be a requirement from you to them?
For the cooking classes, or for
For
now,
either,
let me just say, I always, like, once a week I cook live on Instagram,
okay.
or I share a recipe 3 times a week, 3 to 5, 4 times a week. I share recipes, and I
Mm, mm,
always cook once on Instagram live. So I
mm, mm,
always
mm,
share. It's for free. It's just your data, and come
mm.
watch me cooking. Make your life easy. And I always post recipes there.
I think that the thing I need to do, the next interview we're going to do, you have to cook live. Like, because I need to just be sure that you're the one cooking it there. Because it's nice.
Why not?
It's nice to just see it on Instagram and you're like, okay, and it ends there. But at least by the time the people see that, okay, fine, you actually mixing the stuff and we are seeing the smoke, then we will imagine that the smell at that side is actually cascading our nose and we begin to know.
Yes,
So you, if you want to
yes.
describe a good food, what is a good food?
Good food is the food that is cooked with love. It can be anything. And I
Okay.
always tell people that you can see the food that was cooked with love. You can see the food that was cooked with someone with warm hands. It doesn't have, because I can tell you now, I can go home to my mom, she'll be
Mm,
cooking the pumpkin from her garden with mealy
yeah.
meal. It's
Mm,
nothing, it's very tasty, but because it
mm.
was cooked with love, it tastes amazing. So I always say, give some love, put some portion of love when you cook.
Where do you find that portion? Is it sold in shop also? No, because the way you were talking about the whole issue of love, it looked like okay, fine. I think we should just go and buy this thing because if we spray that particular post on the top
Coming
of the
from the with, it's from within.
it's from within. Okay. I want to throw this as a not really a heavy challenge. I have a 200 rand and I want to be able to cook something nice on the spot. What do you think? And I like my pap. And I also have a 200. The pap, at least we have the pap, but now I need something to make the soup with 200 to look very good. What would be my good to go that you would suggest immediately?
200 rand.
Yeah, so
That's a
200
lot of
rand. That's what
that,
I have.
that's a lot of money, actually. It's the
Okay,
whole
okay.
groceries.
So now I'm just trying to like okay, because I know I can find 200 immediately to just make some nice. The pap is already there. It's okay, but that what can I mix? And then in terms of just throwing some secret recipe that I can do with 200. For you said it's too much. Maybe for you it's 100 rand. What is it that I can go to shop and I
For
get
me,
immediately?
it will be for me it will be 50 rand. I go to the
Okay.
shop with my 50 rand. I buy chicken livers, uh, 250 mils of fresh cream, one onion, small bottle of cooking oil,
Hmm.
and salt and pepper, and the
Hmm.
chicken spice. That's 50 rand. I swear.
15
Uh,
and that's like
yes,
five different things you just mentioned.
yes. It's chicken livers. They'll be easily be 10.99 or 12.99. Fresh
Okay.
cream is also less than 12 rand. And then one onion and cooking oil and salt and pepper. I go
Hmm.
home, fry my onion, add chicken livers, add salt and pepper. We always have spices at home. Either you've got a vegetable spice or maybe you've got
Hmm.
a chicken spice. Season your chicken livers and put the fresh cream, and voila, you serve your pap.
Family, you see what you can do with 50 rand. I actually took it to 100 and or 200 rand, and she decided to make me to understand that 200 rand is too much.
Yeah, you've got
my, producer,
money.
my producer is laughing. She says 200 rand is a whole grocery.
It's the whole grocery.
You can't blame me because that's the only thing in which I know that with 200 rand, at least you can then be able. Because, for example, my tribe, I'm from Nigeria, and so our food in which we eat, we know too well that they don't come cheap at all. And so you start from 200 upward just to make sure that and you know how our egusi
You've
soup
got a
is. I don't know.
decent food.
I don't know if you've been able to spot into our egusi soup as Nigerians, where it has all kinds of meat. My wife used to complain like, "You guys are very expensive. Like you can just cook soup with chicken. For you Nigerians, you guys put chicken, put beef, put oxtail, put all." I'm like, "Yeah, it's called orishirishi, which means
What a
all to."
waste.
No, it's not a waste. You're the one who
It's a
says
whole month grocery.
no, it's not a waste. It's just the fact that you just want to have everything as you are eating. You are
The
holding
whole
that. and
Different flavors.
you are feeling everything in one. And by the time you finish eating, there is no way you can be able to have the energy to carry the plate and go and drop in the kitchen. You sleep where you
It's
are.
still
Then when you wake up, you're like, yeah, no, life continues for this. Now, my next question, in which I want to then put on the table there, is the fact that for somebody who apparently is trying to have, or probably trying to have a, for lack of a better word, a health nutritional food. Because we see a lot of people now, they come up, they still want to eat good, but the issue is the fact that health nutritional food, whereby they can be able to have supplement for everything. For example, probably there may be a spice that can replace starch. Because I know somebody who at this very particular moment eating starch now is like a serious problem. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, yeah, man, me, I still want my pap. I
You
don't
are
care.
actually pushing me in the corner because I'm not a dietitian. I'm just a
No, but
chef, so
no,
don't
I
push
know
it.
I know you're a
But
chef, but at the same time, you can find a way. Like there's
yes,
just a way.
what I normally tell people, like if someone were to use a spice like your chili
Mm,
spice, you can
mm,
rather use a fresh herb, maybe a thyme or a rosemary, just to enhance the flavor.
mm,
Or instead of using a lot of oil, rather use a little bit of butter when you want to saute something. I
mm, mm.
always at least try to. I don't want to sound as a dietitian. I'm not, but I
Mm,
always
mm.
try to advise people. But then, if someone comes and say, I'm diabetes, and it's very hard for me to say, okay, rather eat this because I'm not a professional. I would
Okay.
rather consult than telling someone
Another thing.
I'm just not a nutritious person.
Mm,
But
mm,
I always say rather let's try to avoid a lot of fat or a lot of hot food or spices. Rather use
mm.
fresh herbs or whatever that it can be. We can
If
substitute all those things that we think they're not good for us.
I see one of our brother all the way here in Santin. He's asking a question that has to do, and he's a Nigerian now. This is a it's a very funny question, but I'm going to throw it across to you. Hopefully, you'll be able to find a way to address the question. He said, "Please help me ask your chef. Is it possible for her to do a Nigerian food with South African spices and also make it nice? E.g., he puts here egusi soup and also." Egusi soup and also our Ife Sala soup. Okay, now she can't know Ife Sala. Even me too, I don't know that. I know the soup, but in terms of making the soup, it's a problem. Now, this one is coming from Nonso, all the way from Santin here. He's asking about your skill when it comes to issue. Is it only limited to South African food, or you can then do Nigerian food but use South African spice? Because I think for him, he likes South African spices, but it's just the fact that he still wants his Nigerian food. No, there's just something about our food.
Of course, if I were to be given a chance, or if someone were to give me a recipe, a Nigerian recipe, I'll
Hmm.
twist it
You,
to South African.
you just find a way of just playing the magic and
I'll
everything. Just
just twist it, of course. I will twist it. And believe me, I won't use three types of protein in one dish.
okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I think no, so you've heard what you said concerning that very particular food, and so please, you made. I think my
Definitely, I would really love to learn a Nigerian dish with
um,
pleasure. And
no,
I would really love to.
no, trust me, because next year, a lot of Nigerian parties will be taking place, and so you won't go wrong. We have what we call jollof rice. We have what we call a goosey soup.
Yes. Oh, yes. Jollof rice is from Nigeria, right?
Yes, it's our food. If you eat that food, you will know that Jesus is a Christian. That one is for sure. You will know. You will be hearing the voice of heaven from the throne grace telling you turn left, turn right. That food has a way of just opening your mind to the spiritual space. Now, and I know for sure, egusi and jollof rice. Ask any Nigeria you find around your space, they will tell you you can't go wrong with that too. In
That's
any
true.
Nigerian meeting, yeah, you will not go wrong, and will be them. So now,
Yeah.
with that being said, as in, I think one of the questions here somebody is trying to ask me here is the fact that is it possible for her to come and be able to cook for event? We'll see. I think that's something that you may want to answer immediately. Okay,
I want to
you're
answer immediately. No, unfortunately, I don't do
you don't cook
events
for events. Okay,
or catering or whatsoever. I don't.
why?
I knew that question was coming.
Of course, it's not coming. I had to find a way.
I think, or I believe, one has to know where they're going,
Mm.
One has to know what they're doing. One has
Mm.
to concentrate on one thing. Because the minute I start giving cooking classes and catering, then I don't know. I have to find exactly what works for me. I have to
Okay.
have one speciality. I have to specialize
Mm.
on one thing. Um, so I know where I'm going. Then when you're there, then you get confused yourself. I think I'm happy with the cooking classes alone. There are a lot of people who are doing catering and events. So yeah, the
Okay.
elephant is too big, guys. Everybody can just take a
No, I know.
bite. And...
I know everybody can have it. No, this is me. I want to throw that twist again on the table because the West African in me is boiling very hard. I don't know what is the budget in terms of cooking. What you call doing a catering. Let me just assume that the rough estimate will be like a 90,000, 100,000, depending on the number of people that is coming for that event where you want to do a catering. Now, this very particular person likes what you cook. Probably they've tasted what you were doing and stuff, and all of a sudden there's a 200,000 that is available on the table, and yet we want you to be the chef for that. Is it still a no?
Yes,
It's
no
still a
for
no.
me.
Okay, I'm worried now. Like, what are you afraid of?
I don't know. I'm not afraid of anything. I would rather
Yeah.
give you a recipe to go cook it at home yourself. I just can't, and I'm not big in cooking those big pots. Oh, my
Oh,
battery is
okay,
almost
okay,
dying.
okay, okay.
I prefer
What?
cooking for my family of six and or eight. I can't cook for more. I prefer cooking in my small pot. And I remember when I used to work at the hotel, at the hotel, someone sits there and order maybe
Mm,
prawns. You
mm,
just cook
mm,
a small
mm,
portion of prawns. It's not like those big pots, or someone comes and order a lamb shank. You cook that
mm,
small
mm,
lamb
mm,
shank. It's
mm,
yeah. I just gotten used to that. I'm not used to cooking. I was always in the a la carte kitchen when I was still working
mm.
at the hotel. I was never doing those big
Heavy cooking.
events when yes. So
Okay,
I think I got used to that.
okay. I think we'll leave that part, and maybe by the time I needed to do my event, for the fact that I know you, we'll find a way of discussing.
No, sorry. I'll give you someone to help. Don't
It's
worry.
going to be one of those compromises that's
I'll
going to
give
happen.
you plan.
Let's not say it now live on air because people are listening. I'm like, okay, we are doing talents in the favor. What happened? And I know how to twist my producers, how to twist you. They be like, okay, no, it's fine. Let's just see how it's gonna go down. Now,
Oh well.
in the place of if someone wants to come and learn in terms of your culinary skills, is this something that there is a class that they can do online, or is it available just one-on-one base, or how do you structure that very particular thing?
I also do one-on-one cooking classes, but
Okay.
I stopped cooking classes since Corona. I think I'll
Mm,
see
mm,
again
mm.
next year. For
Okay.
now, it's just on hold until the Corona leave us alone. Then I can start again.
I like the way Corona leave us alone.
Yo, this thing doesn't want to leave us alone.
I like the way you say Corona leave us alone.
We want our life back.
Mm. No, but if you look
We
at it, the
want.
way people are currently moving now, people look as if there is no corona anymore. It looks as if we are tired. They're like, whatever.
I know, but I don't want to have a cooking class and someone gets corona and then they trace it back to my cooking class. I don't want that. I'll start again once the corona is gone. Hmm?
What of an okay? I see
Okay,
you are
we're gonna
busy.
leave soon. My
Yeah, we're
daughter
gonna
is asking me. She's got gymnastics. We normally leave at 1:30, so
have,
she wants to go now for her gymnastics.
oh, okay. Just tell her that in the next 10 minutes will be over now, and so you can be able to go do your stuff. And now, in terms of somebody to be able to, as we begin to bring this to a close, so that you can go do what you need to do. What are the when it comes to issue of food based the food, the nutritional space? What are the things in which you want someone that is currently listening to now to be able to take when the person hear the word food or they hear the word nutrition? What is the thing that you want them to take out of that very particular name?
Well, I still say fresh. You must always go for fresh food. Like when I'm talking fresh, I'm talking about your fresh vegetable. I'm talking
Mm,
about your
mm,
fresh veggie, your
mm,
fresh herbs. I'm talking of
mm.
your fresh protein, man. You must always make sure your food is it's healthy. Your food is not old to make sure you're fine. Yeah, I think.
When you say old, how many days is old?
So,
Because
I know a lot of people will take the meat out of the freezer and leave it in the kitchen sink for like the whole day.
yeah,
You must always make sure that when you take it out of the freezer, the minute it's defrosted, use it right away. Don't wait for long for it
okay,
to stay in the fridge. You must always, when you know when it's fresh, man. You know when your meat is starting to change color. You know it's
yeah,
fresh.
yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
when your meat is starting to be stick. You know it's fresh. You know when
Mm,
you touch it, it's fresh. But
mm.
about nutritious, really, I still say I'm the wrong person to talk
To
about
talk
it. But
about
I
that.
still
No, I
say
understand. I understand.
fresh, 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 fresh.
And like my producer is saying before I ask you my two simple questions, she says, I love the fact that she sticks to her guns and she knows exactly what she wants. It's evident that money is not her core functions, but the love of her craft. I guess that's the thing about you.
Yeah,
That's my
I
producer.
couldn't have said it better.
Yeah, that's my producer. No, don't worry. My producer has a way of just wrapping up conversation very simple. Sometimes by the time I talk, she'll be like, no, DS, because she calls me DS. DS say yes. Like, let's just say it like this. And I'm like, yes, ma, case closed. That's why we have people like your kind to make it easy. Now, my final question I want to ask you before you then tell us how we can find you and stuff. If you were to be given a billboard, is a blank billboard, please imagine it very well. I don't know. Are you in Dublin currently?
I'm in Port Elizabeth.
Port Elizabeth, PE. Okay. Imagine on the highway. I don't know what is the highway in PE, but I know in Gauteng here we have what we call N1. I don't
N1,
know
yes.
what the N1. I don't know what was the N that side. Maybe it's N1 or N12. I don't know what is there. But imagine a highway and N1, and there is a blank billboard that is standing there. And that blank billboard, they give you a pen for you to write something. What would that very particular word be?
Be
Coming from your
yourself.
personality.
I will say be yourself
Why do you choose that?
because everyone is taken. When you're authentic, people follow real. People don't follow someone that has already been there. They
Mm,
want you to be you because God
mm,
created us to be different from one another. And that's
mm.
what makes life interesting. Be
True.
yourself.
Be yourself. Final
Yep.
question. How can we find you? How can people begin to get in
Cooking
touch
with
with you?
Zanele on Facebook, Cooking with Zanele on Instagram. Yes, Cooking with Zanele on. I'm not big on Twitter, but yes, it's Cooking with Zanele. Cooking with Zanele. There's Cooking
So
with
somebody
Zanele
can
there.
just run inbox around that place and you'll be able to respond immediately.
Yes, I always do. Ask
Okay.
Zanele.
Okay. It's like, ask Zanele. Zanele, I'll ask you because my guest said we should ask you that you respond. She responds easily. But I really want to thank you because so that you can then take your child to go do her sport that she wants to do.
Gymnastics. Thank you
Thank you
so,
so
so
much for taking
much.
out the time. I will then call you again. We'll call you again for a live cook because I want to see, and I will send a recipe that I want to see you make it. And if
Yes, I would
possible,
love to. It must be a Nigerian dish, please.
Nigeria, you just
Yes.
somewhere in this month or next month, you will be seeing that one happen. It is well. All right, let me allow you to go. Bye for now, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, bye.
Thank you. Bye. Zandy,
Okay.
let's go.
Family, that's how we come to the end of this very particular interview with my guest at this very particular moment. I believe that you enjoyed that very particular conversation that has to do with about all things food and all things nutrition. One of the things in which she said is the fact that you must be able to throw what you call a touch of love into that very particular meal and just to make sure that the meal is good. You don't need to break budget. I think that's the most important thing. You don't need to break budget. I remember asking her for a task of about what you call 200 rand, and she managed to break it down to 50 rand. And so please and please, I want you to understand this. Eating good is good business. I promise you, that's the way I can say it. Eating good is a good business. Ability for you to know how to change your culinary skills in your kitchen. Ability for you, even though you are eating pap and steak, there's a way you can mix the pap and steak in such a way whereby you can then be able to get blessed while eating the food, not food that you are eating and you are angry eating the food. There's a way you can actually just find a way of marinating that very particular food, and the food becomes something sweet that you then enjoy. With this one being said, this very particular moment, I really want to appreciate my producer, Zanele. And thank you very much for bringing this very particular awesome guest. She's bubbling and she's loving stuff. And so please make sure that you follow her on all our social media platform, which is called Cooking with Zanele, either on Facebook and also on Instagram. And definitely, like she said, definitely she's on. I can see my producer saying here that she does, and she can vouch for her that when you reach out to her, she'll be able to attend to you regarding anything in which you want to do, especially when it comes to learning how to cook. Trust me, there's no excuse for you not to learn how to cook. I don't care whether you say cooking is not your hobby. Find a way of just learning something, whether I like it or not. Cook. And this is not a matter of being a female or a male. This is a matter of just knowing how to just cook. Because sometimes I remember I like cracking joke with my wife. I said there's one thing she knows too well. I think I've made peace is the fact that she can't punish me with food. It's impossible. She can't. Psh. She can't punish me with food. I grew up from a catering family. I know how to cook my stuff and cook, and I'm still looking forward in terms of learning more and all those things. But why? And also, I look forward also whereby I want to go into the kitchen. My wife is actually sitting, crossing her leg on the couch there, sitting with I wanted to say a wine, but let me say it on the Christian term, sitting with the Holy Communion. The communion is very holy, sitting with a holy communion. And yet I'm putting on my apron and I'm cooking, washing the dish, make sure that she eats her food and she enjoys it. That's something that I believe that life can actually be, regardless of it all. You can be married and still have fun in your marriage. And to men who doesn't know how to cook, please go and learn something and cook. It's fun and it's engaging. I'm begging you. Our women also, let's not make food look as if it's a women's job. No, it's not a women's job. It's everybody's job. We just need to know how to cook good food. The same way my wife, God bless me, the woman who knows how to turn the pot properly. But at the same time, also, I also have the skills of also knowing how to turn the pot properly. But because why? In that very particular medium, we can then be able to say, no, today, babe, don't cook. I'm going to do it. And because why? It is actually good. If Jesus, your Jesus, can cook, let's call a spade a spade. He cooked out of the recipe he had. He only had 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes. He actually used that recipe to make food for 5,000 men, and yet there was still 12 baskets left. There must be an intelligence in which your Jesus, who is a man, could be able to pull off. So we have no excuse for us to say we don't want to cook. We have no excuse for us to say we don't want to eat something nice and something wonderful. With this being said, family, I've come to the end of this very particular season, or probably this very particular show. You will join me again next week, Monday, with another platform conversations, which is powered by my producer, Zanele. And then in case if you want to talk, you have something that you want to talk about, or probably a project or a program, something that you know that can be fun and life, because one of the things about the show is that it's all about lifestyle and fun. And I'm looking forward to have a conversation with you. But please, her information is currently available on the screen. Take advantage of that. Reach out to her, and she'll be able to guide you in terms of how you can come on board for me to be able to just probably sit and just talk for 1 hour so that I can then be able to understand and also sell your product to the world. With this being said, I love your family. You know how we do it. The rested life, which is this is a rested sign. Yeah, rested sign. The rested life is a reality for you and for me. And always know that God wants you rested, and everything in which you are doing this very particular September, it's going to be a blessing. From your pastor, Darlington Steve, I'll see you. For those of you who are platform family, I'll see you on Thursday, and we'll be able to sit down and be able to pull. So one thing I've called the winning strategy for the Christ man. We'll see you again. Bye for now.